Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode. A lot to talk about today. Not just in cryptocurrency, obviously, but in the broader financial markets. There's a little bit of a meltdown going on. Is this the end of the world as we know it? I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. We are also talking about getting in below the sacrifice rate. You can get in below the sacrifice rate, possibly, for Pulsechain and PulseX. Had some viral tweet about that. So we're going to be getting into that. We're going to be talking about the HEX virality a little bit, maybe talking about some CPI and other things. So welcome, everyone, and please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I don't know why the viewer count's not working on StreamYard, but not okay. Anyways, what's going on in the chat? Oystein Larson, good day, good day. Thanks for tuning in. Bit Finesse, always. What's up, Bet4? Chad, what's going on, Chad Donnerschwans? Hit like, subscribe, and consider booking a free one-on-one. Yeah, could not agree more. Thanks a lot, man. And anyone, Mr. Chuck. Hi, Mr. Chuck. If you stake for a year and end stake, do you pay less taxes? Or since the HEX is burned during the stake and new HEX is minted, you have to wait another year after ending the stake? I think it's based on you have to talk to your tax professional, but I think it's based on when you sell. I don't think it's based on when you end stake. So if you sell for dollars or you exchange it for another crypto, it is a taxable event, I think. But obviously, I'm not a tax expert, so you're going to have to consult your CPA when it comes to taxes and things like that. I think it has to do with when you sell it, but I don't know. This is a new thing we're dealing with. What's going on, Metastaying? Looking forward to Patreon meeting on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah, guys, please get into Patreon. Weekly meetings every Sunday. Myself, David Weinberg. Good day, David Weinberg. Also Patreon. What's going on in HEX? Bonjour, mon ami. Bonjour. Bonjour. Anyways, yeah, let's get into the charts. We got the Bitcoin chart. Interestingly, despite the Credit Suisse possibly going bankrupt, possibly having a bank run and being unable to meet customer withdrawals, Bitcoin is up a lot. I mean, hasn't really went down. Why is that? Well, one, we have this massive resistance line over here. You see this resistance? We couldn't close above it yesterday. We hit it here, here, here. Also here, so yeah, and here. So that's some serious resistance if you want to go with TA. The other answer is that the markets are pricing in rate cuts, and we're going to get deep into that. So I think the same thing is with the S&P 500. It's not down much, but I don't have the chart pulled up. But it seems like the market is right now pricing in rate cuts this year. And they thought that maybe at the end of the year they'd start cutting. It's looking like that is not true. But obviously nothing is confirmed yet. We're going to be following the situation very closely. But that's the story for Bitcoin. And then obviously HEX, you know, slight red candle, slight pullback, but obviously also up a lot. Hasn't hasn't dropped much. And the reason why it's up a lot, obviously, is because of the imminent Pulsechain testnet v3 launch. So, which hasn't even launched yet. So maybe we have some more upside with the target of 12 cents. And also maybe on the way we pull back to this support here at 6.89 cents. That could be a very slight possibility in the situation, but still up a lot. And if you were dollar cost averaging over here throughout this duration, throughout the period of seemingly disbelief, you know, that massive capitulation over here in consolidation, you should be feeling really good, especially with the additional rewards you've been earning from staking. So yeah, I mean, there is also, for being lucid, there is a slight bearish divergence, and that could be maybe why we're experiencing this dump right now. But if you look over here on the RSI, you have a high and a lower high, and then on the chart you have a lower high and a higher high, right? See, I'm the Moon Carl now. You have a lower high and a higher high. You can move this over, and here you have a high and then a lower high. So maybe we pull back even to this position over here, but I don't know. I'm dollar cost averaging. As for the markets, very red day, but the week is pretty green. And HEX daily stats, we have HEX daily stats, checking it on the daily. We have a 6.362 payout per T-share and 189 change in current holders, despite the red candle. 189 change in current holders, so that's pretty awesome. 36 change in current miners. So yeah, that's it for the numbers. Let's go take a look at the chat and see what you guys are saying. For some reason, my view count isn't working here, but yeah, that's that for the HEX numbers. We have, I don't know how many people watching, but please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And also consider going and booking a one-on-one, links in the description, and also maybe consider joining the Patreon. Get some good stuff, get some access to my trades and meetings and portfolio balance and everything like that. So yeah, shout out to that. Erkin Akundov. Hi, just would like to ask how many HEX at the moment staked? How much total HEX staked? Let me see, HEX daily stats. Block supply, good accounting. It says 66,129,654,741. That's what you're looking for. That is that's what we have. Bit Finesse says ending a stake sets your basis in most jurisdictions. You'll own taxes on the difference in price between when you take possession of your coins and when you sell. Publishing new coins is passive income. There you go. From Bit Finesse. Davis says the stars are aligning. Mr. Chuck, thanks. Furu, Crispy Man. What is going on, Crispy Man? Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure everyone is subscribed here to HEXFire.io. But yeah, let's get into the news and what's going on there, obviously hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. First up, we got HEX machine. So HEX got listed on another centralized exchange, CoinStash.au. 1,491 followers. So it's definitely not a big one, but because it listed HEX, it'll probably get bigger. So yeah, shout out to that. I think it was a great decision too. It's a great decision to list HEX. Made a great decision to list HEX. The next step is access to DeFi through integrated front-end support at launch. I hope the team can buy as much PLS as possible and keep spreading the truth of Richard Hart winning. Yeah, that would be nice if we can get centralized exchanges to list Pulse, so you could just go straight on instead of having to bridge through ETH, which would suck. So good news, guys. Adoption is coming, or is here. And then this guy, ManXBD, I like what he did. He made like a little collage of HEX going viral and all the influencers talking about it. We have all our favorite influencers. Ivan on Tech. He's actually my favorite mainstream influencer. Carl the Moon's there. Mason vs. Lewis. Jeff Seckinger. Meet Kevin, right? Altcoin Daily. Hotbit News. Suppleman. Justin Bonds and Bankless. Can we hear it for our favorite influencers? Yeah. This is during the bear market. Obviously, HEX is the next big thing. So shout out to that. And shout out to Red Bull Green Bear. Confirms that Richard Hart is going to be on the Ran Nooner show with Crypto Man Ran. So shout out to that also. I don't want to play it because then I have to change the tabs. So there you have it. He's going to be on. Someone asked him, when are you going to have Richard Hart on? And he said he's going to have him on when Pulsechain goes live, when Pulsechain V3 goes live. So you have an Ivan on Tech interview, you have a Rand Nooner interview. I don't hear about a BitBoy crypto interview happening, but regardless, those are two of the biggest YouTubers in crypto, and they're having Richard Hart on. So, and obviously both of them sacrificed for Pulsechain. Both Crypto Man Ran and Ivan on Tech sacrifice for Pulsechain, so that's cool. It looks like HEX is going viral and getting that mainstream adoption. And go follow Red Bull Green Bear at rbullgbear. Thank you for tagging me. I appreciate that. A substantive tag. I get a lot of tags for things that maybe are not worthwhile looking at. So it's nice to get a tag of something that was worthwhile to look at. But what else do we have? Yeah, we could get into this. This is the first thing that we're going to talk about is if you miss the Pulsechain sacrifice, people are talking about, oh, how much are you going to get in on, right? Like, what's your rate going to be? Are you going to have to buy at 10x the sac rate? Are you not going to be able to get in on those levels that the OGs, the Pulsechain OGs got in on? And the short answer is no, right? Not necessarily, and this is why. Because if you miss the Pulsechain sacrifice, it may be possible to get in below the Pulse and PulseX sacrifice. If, for example, Pulse launches at 2x the sac rate, if you buy HEX now and it doubles, and you trade it on both chains for PLS, you effectively bought lower than the sac rate. Why? Because you're getting HEX on Ethereum, which 2x, right, between now and the Pulsechain launch. Plus, you're getting a HEX on Pulsechain, which is going to have value, not knowing what it is. That will make you effectively in US dollar value more than a 2x, and you're buying at 2x the sac rate. So your cost basis is lower than that of the Pulsechain sacrificers. Also, if you got in during those 2 cent buying opportunities a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, went as low as 1.7 cents, then you're up 5x now. So if you use all that HEX liquid to buy Pulsechain, your cost basis, even if PLS launches at a 5x of its launch price, your cost basis is going to be lower than that of the sacrificer. So if you got in on liquid HEX over the past couple of months, congratulations, because even if you didn't sacrifice or Pulsechain, it is likely you are going to get in at a lower rate, lower effective rate than the sacrificers, which nobody really thought of. So it's kind of cute. But what else do we have? Yeah, so then after that, IMB Roots, Moon King B Roots. This guy's got 40,000 followers, so shout out to him. He responded because this got 226 likes. It's pretty crazy. But he responded, sucks because it won't start 2x plus all the pulses out there, so no pre-swap. Someone has to sell it to you for break even. This means that someone wants HEX so bad that they waited 2 years to buy it when they could have bought it all along. Bad reasoning, but best idea. Yeah, so someone wants HEX so bad. So yeah, so I responded, a 2x is reasonable. So he's saying it's going to start at a lot higher than a 2x, maybe 3x, 4x max. But basically, I said that if it's 10x from sacrifice, then the price is going to probably crash. I think it's unlikely because it would crash before it gets there, because that means that there are whales that have a lot of pulse that are going to be up 20x. And they just have to sell a little to drive the price down because the liquidity is very low. So I don't think that it's going to launch at much more than a 2x, but maybe it will. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Saying that someone waited 2 years to get it when they could have bought it all along. Yeah, I don't think just because people could get in lower, that doesn't mean that it's not going to launch, that people aren't going to be able to get in lower. But shout out to Moon King B Roots. Go check him out. He's got a decent following. But yeah, that's what I meant basically. So that's interesting, and that's something that no one really thought of. That effectively, if you bought HEX at the bottom, for sure, you're getting in. If you bought it to buy Pulsechain, your cost basis is going to be lower than the Pulsechain sacrificers. And even if you buy it now, it still may be lower than Pulsechain sacrificers, because HEX could. It's very reasonable to say that HEX could do a 2x between now and Pulsechain launch, especially if it doesn't launch for like another 3 months. So yeah, that's that. It's really throwing me off that this view count isn't showing. Not sure exactly why, but this is like the second time it happened, so not too happy with StreamYard. Any new RH tweets? I don't know. It's possible. No. But HEX is up 5x in 2023, which is pretty sick. So congratulations to you on that, if you got in on HEX in the beginning of 2023. I heard it's going to be hard to beat 10 to 14x on launch. Yeah, I agree. There's also people, not everyone's thinking long-term. People want to buy high, sell low. People want to ratio trade. People want to play games. Not everyone is as level-headed as, people might think, surprisingly. Doesn't matter. Just get what you can when it launches and hold. Yeah, I agree. At least buy some and then DCA. But yeah, that's that for that. So I guess the next thing up is we can do the watcher.guru. Another article about HEX, Watcher.guru has, I think, 1.6 million subs or followers on Twitter, and they can't really get their eyes off HEX. They keep on writing about it, saying HEX is trading at 9-month high as token continues to trend. According to Lunar Crush, HEX is currently one of the most searched cryptocurrency projects. As per the analysis firm's data, the project ranks 6th, just behind Phantom in its list of top 10 trending searches. Nonetheless, Bitcoin, the original cryptocurrency, takes the top spot on the list. So there you go. Lunar Crush has how many followers? Not bad, 286.6 thousand followers. Tweeting top 10, Bitcoin, LUNR, Matic, VRA, Phantom, and HEX. There you go. However, upon closer examination, there is more to it than meets the eye. According to data on Lunar Crush, HEX social mentions have dropped 39.9%. Meanwhile, its social engagements have fallen 13.1%, and social dominance has dropped 39.9%. The platform's data also indicates that bearish sentiment regarding the project has increased by 171.3%, while bullish sentiment has decreased by 41.3%. So yeah, I don't think that means anything. I think it's always swinging, and usually it's swinging after it's already too late. But that's crazy. The 6th most searched cryptocurrency. I think we're in for a good bull market, provided that things hold up in the macro and the world doesn't collapse like people are worrying about right now. And whether or not the world is going to collapse, we're going to get into that shortly. So yeah, that was cool. And then I guess we had a negative article by CoinGeek. But listen, if you're talking about it, it's great. But this was already from a while ago, so I don't have to read through the whole thing. But they were saying that Hexkins panic as Richard Hart's social media ditches HEX. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean anything. It's going to be okay. FUD, FUD, FUD. So yeah, that was interesting. It's just worth noting that people are talking about it is what I'd really say about that. But yeah, so now we could get into the Credit Suisse saga. Right now, people think that we are on the verge of maybe a financial collapse or maybe a big Fed bailout and, the trigger of a huge bull market. And that is going to depend what happens with Credit Suisse. We're very much going to be dependent on what happens with Credit Suisse. So Wall Street Silver tweeted, Credit Suisse now has a probability of default of 47%. That is up from 38% just a few hours ago. CS, Credit Suisse, is also offering crazy deposit rates of 6.5% to attract and retain deposits that are being removed. Do we see a bailout by this weekend? Great question. Then we have the U.S. Treasury says it's monitoring the Credit Suisse situation. Yeah, shout out to that from FX Hedgers. And then Financial Times says Credit Suisse appeals to Swiss Central Bank for show of support. A share slide sparks wider route. So yeah, Credit Suisse has appealed to the Swiss National Bank for a public show of support after its shares cratered as much as 30%, sparking a broader sell-off in European and U.S. bank stocks. The request by Credit Suisse came after its shares sank as low as SFR 1.56 have earlier been halted amid a heavy sell-off, according to 3 people. Credit Suisse also asked for a similar response from FINMA, the Swiss regulators, 2 of the people said, but neither institution has yet decided to intervene publicly. So yeah, this looks like a very desperate situation, to say the least. It seems like if people keep on trying to take their money out, they're not going to be able to meet the withdrawals. So what does that mean? That would be very bad. That would mean a lot of people are not going to have their money. A lot of businesses that use Credit Suisse are not going to be able to make payroll and cover their expenses and costs of operations. And yeah, I mean that would probably mean a lot of people are going to lose jobs. That would have a ripple effect throughout the entire world economy. So it's a pretty concerning situation, to say the least. Um, and what else was there? No, yeah. So that was, so yeah, it's a pretty concerning situation. The question is, if obviously it's insolvent, which it's looking pretty desperate, and they can't find a buyer, is the Federal Reserve going to bail them out, or are we going into a Great Depression? And then you have to wonder, okay, so if this bank becomes insolvent, like how many other banks are people going to start trying to get their money out of it? Especially the small banks, like people were saying with the Silicon Valley thing. So how many more banks are people going to try and get their money out, and then they're going to be deemed insolvent? And then how many businesses are not going to be able to make payroll, and how many jobs are going to be lost? And how bad could this get? So is the Federal Reserve, is the Fed going to allow this to happen? Are the Swiss central banks going to allow this to happen? I mean, that's really the big question. And I think anyone that thinks about it is going to say that the answer is no, they're going to bail them out. But the problem is that we have massive inflation. Already we have like elevated inflation. And if the Fed would go risk on again, then that means they're not going to be able to get to their 2% target inflation, right? So, I mean, it's an interesting situation. It's looking like there's probably going to be a bailout, and it's looking like, what does that mean for interest rates? Because interest rates are obviously what people want to know how they're going to be in the future. It's looking like they're going to have to come down because the economy can't handle it. Already you had two banks go under, which was directly caused by the raising of interest rates. And now Credit Suisse is possibly going under because of the raising interest rates. So, and then on top of that, you had Wells Fargo. This is from beststocks.com. Wells Fargo is looking to raise 9.5 billion through mixed securities shelf offerings. So they're trying to raise money, which is very weird that, all of a sudden during this liquidity crunch and, all these banks not being able to raise the money that they need for demands, Wells Fargo all of a sudden decides to start raising money. Could they be having problems because of the rising interest rates? It's very possible. And how many other banks are having issues that they haven't talked about yet? So it's looking like the economy can't handle the rapid rise in interest rates, which means what? I mean, which means that they're not going to be able to raise interest rates anymore. They have to be out of their minds to do it. And people are even speculating a 25% raise just to say they did it. But honestly, people were saying that yesterday, and after this morning with the Credit Suisse, I don't think they're going to be able to do that either. So until now, everyone was saying we're going all the way to the end of the year with the raised rates, and then maybe at the end they'll start cutting it slowly. I don't think that anybody could sensibly believe that that's the case anymore. I think they're going to be slashed a lot faster than people really think. I think maybe in the next couple of months. It's just too much. It's too much for the economy to handle. So yeah, that's really what I think. And then what does that mean for the markets? It means the markets go up, and that's why if you look at Bitcoin right now and you look at the S&P 500, they're kind of up a little bit. And obviously HEX also, because of the pricing in of the earlier than expected rate cuts. I think it's just a matter of time until that happens. Now, I didn't talk about this yesterday because we had Funding Jim on, so we didn't have time to cover this. But inflation cooled again. We're at 6% now. So, I mean, that's good. If it was considerably higher, maybe they would think twice about cutting the rates. I think we're at 6% now. And maybe, within a month, especially with this whole spook, we could be at like 5%. But they're going to have to cut rates. I mean, this is not going to be able to go on much longer. So what does that mean for HEX? That's very bullish. I think it's very bullish for crypto, obviously, especially considering that the market hasn't fully priced in those early rate cuts. It hasn't fully priced in that Fed can't handle. The Fed can't handle these. The Fed can't fight inflation. I mean, they just don't have it in them anymore. So I think that's very bullish. I think I think we're going to have very high prices in crypto and stocks a lot quicker than people think. Once people come to this realization that it's just not possible to fight inflation. We could have elevated inflation, but I don't think inflation is going to run away. And I talk about why, because, we're in a first world country where goods and services aren't so scarce. So we could have elevated inflation, maybe 3 to 4%, with obviously crypto and stocks going to the moon, which I guess is good for us because probably HEX is going to outperform inflation in this kind of environment, especially because the excess money is not going into goods and services. So yeah, I mean, like, that's really it for the news. I think that's really the rundown. I think we're looking at a sooner than expected bull market, and I think at this point it's probably very safe to say that the bottom's in. Unless, I mean, this is what you really have to be looking out for. You have to be looking out for the Fed saying, yeah, we're not going to step in, and these banks are going to have to fail. And do you honestly think that they're going to do that? Do you think they're going to kill the economy? I don't think they're going to. There's too much political. There's too much political repercussions at stake that could lead to just such a disaster for the people that are currently in power. I don't think they're going to want to do that. I think they're going to choose inflation over a complete failure of the financial system. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. But again, we have, I think, 34 people watching. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And please, if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, thinking about how to approach Pulsechain launch, you have questions about markets, crypto, anything like that, go book a free call with me. Links in the description. Also consider supporting the channel, supporting my work being a Patreon. You will get access to my portfolio. You will get access to my trades. You'll join the weekly Zoom meeting, live and recorded courses. You'll be able to watch all of them and be able to attend them. You'll get discounts on consultations and things like that. So yeah, go check out the Patreon, links in the description. And also, please follow me on Instagram. Let me share my Instagram link at furu.finance. I'm at like 50 right now. I'm trying to get to 100 end of week. So yeah, go follow me at furu.finance on Instagram. Yvonne Lopez. Would you recommend to buy HEX now and swap for PLS? That's definitely what I'm doing. I mean, are you long HEX? I think I am. So I think that's not a bad idea. But yeah, you could book a free one-on-one, and with me, we could go over that. But yeah, I mean, especially if you're long HEX, and especially if you want to buy in the first 2 days, you might want to buy HEX now and swap for PLS. That also doesn't mean you have to trade it all at once. I mean, you could dollar cost average some of it, you could trade some of it, you could ratio trade some of it. But yeah. Francis says fire. What's going on, Francis? Thanks so much for tuning in. The World Economic Forum does not want the Great Reset. I mean, they do want it. They've said it specific. They say it like they say it outright. They want a Great Reset. Oh, does want. Yeah, they do. Yet another reason why crypto is the future. Crypto style is what's going on. Yes, I'd agree. definitely, I'm definitely long crypto, especially with these, likely inevitable rate cuts. What's going on, Seek 5555? Go follow me on Insta. What's up, Francis? I love Jesus. What's going on? I'm just a little confused because I saw one of your vids saying how it was risky and you rather buy VC swap for PLS. So that video was from a while ago, actually, and that was when HEX was at considerably higher prices, and it didn't seem like Pulsechain was coming anytime soon, let alone V3. Like Pulsechain V3 didn't seem like it was coming anytime soon. So I did want to have some stablecoin exposure, but obviously since then there's been a lot of downside. I believe that it was oversold, and I believe that it bottomed. So I rebalanced. I sold a lot of my stables for HEX because yes, USDC has no risk to the downside, but it has risk to the upside. So if HEX goes up a lot, if you'd been sitting in HEX instead of stables, you would have a lot more buying power. So I think at this point, I'm definitely more long HEX, and that's not to say have nothing in stables, but I'm more into HEX at this point. But yeah, appreciate you bringing that up. That's been a while. I'm surprised you just saw that because it's a pretty old video. But thanks, man. Hope you enjoyed. What's going on, Francis? Guys, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Are there any other questions? Man, consider booking a free one-on-one. Links in the description. Appreciate you, brother. I'll book a free one-on-one. Awesome. Can't wait, man. Yeah, so I don't know. Not much really to talk about, except I guess it's kind of good news in the long run and the short run for crypto. I think people are coming to the realization that the Fed cannot keep rates up like this. It's just not possible. They raised it too fast. Now the banks are a little bit screwed. Many of them are a little bit screwed. And they're probably going to need a bailout. And they're probably going to get a bailout because they don't want to crash the economy. So that is the summary. And that is very, very bullish for HEX. So yeah, that means that you might want to be very long HEX in my non-financial advice opinion. That's it for the show. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Okay, I'll answer this question. What are your thoughts on holding PHEX after the snapshot and bridging over EHEX to swap for PLS? I think that's definitely an idea. It's definitely something you could do. But you're not going to be able to buy on day 1 and 2. You have to keep that in mind. So all of my HEX that I want for staking is staked now, and everything liquid I'm just going to use for Pulse and maybe some Pulsex, because yeah, I mean that's really the way I'm doing it right now, because yeah, I'm saying, so that means I'm gonna swap my PHEX, and I'm gonna bridge in my EX, and I'm gonna swap that, because I have a lot of HEX staked, a lot, and the stakes are maybe smaller than I want them to be, but nevertheless, the US dollar value is going to be a lot in the future, I think. And Bet4 says, I was introduced to HEX and RH through the Meet Kevin interview. It's the only reason I'm here. Just wanted to say it because so many say it's a bad interview. Yeah, thanks for saying that, because I was one of the people that said it's a very good interview. I said Meet Kevin was very fair for someone who's not into HEX, someone who's relatively naive about crypto. You know, I think he was in it for like a year at that point. And considering that everyone called him a scammer, I think it was very fair. And I think that if people are hostile towards Meet Kevin, then he's probably not going to want to have him on again. And that means one of the biggest finance YouTube channels is not going to want to have your guy on. Is that good? Is that good for HEX? I don't think so. So I think that I appreciate you saying that, and shout out to Meet Kevin. When V3 test is made live for us, can we all see which way to go? With buying and swapping. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a new snapshot for V3, so you can you can trade your copies. There's gonna be no bridge. I mean, there actually might be a testnet bridge when you have a faucet. There's gonna be a testnet bridge, so. But obviously, the prices during V3 are not going to be like projecting or indicative of what the prices and ratios are going to be during mainnet, because there's no US dollar value. It's all fake. It's all monopoly money. So people are not going to approach it the way they would if it had US dollar value. That's what I'd say about that, if that makes sense. A good question. Just a reminder, go follow me on Instagram. Links in the chat. Oh, you meant the bridge. The problem with the bridge right now is that the Ethereum testnet that is on How to Pulse to use for the bridge, it's expired. It's not running anymore. So I don't know which testnet you could use to bridge onto the Pulsechain V2B testnet. So I just practice the bridge with, you know, Matic and Binance Smart Chain and things like that. It's the same thing. But obviously, when Pulsechain goes live, the Ethereum network's not expiring, so you're obviously going to use that. But yeah. Go follow me on Twitter, guys, at Furu Finance. Go book your free call today at furufinance.com. Join the Patreon and follow me on Instagram at furu.finance. How many followers do I have? Come on, still at 54. Yeah, give me a follow on Insta. Nothing crazy going on today. I mean, nothing crazy in HEX going on today, but obviously something crazy going on in global markets, which I think we covered. It's pretty much it for now. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Short stream. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Go tune into the Hexologist. He is probably going to be going live shortly. So have a great rest of your day.